The talk of the town has been Mr. Kendrick Lamar, who dropped Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. And there's a lot of layers on this one to break down. We can kind of talk about the album. The responses I'm seeing are even more entertaining at this point. I don't know. We all may not see the same ones.
Shout
but
out to Mac Will Preach. You
oh
have
my
been
goodness,
on fire.
He's been on fire. I've seen a lot of corny things as well, but we'll get there when it's time to address that. But the album, just the project, 2 sides, 18 records. I actually stayed up and listened. I don't know if you all did, but I stayed up and listened when it dropped.
I was up, so I was. I didn't finish the whole thing, but I listened and then finished it when I woke up.
I was that intrigued by it. I sat up and listened to it. I stayed up and listened to it. And we can just kind of go around and talk about thoughts, like pros, cons, or just overall what you felt, and then we can get into some of the other foolishness if you want, because there's been a lot of that going on. So I'll start with. I want to start with Lone on this one. Lone, what did you think? And I know your ear. We worked with each other for so long. This album is very musical from a production standpoint. I'm a fan of that. It's not a bop the whole way through. No, it's not lit the whole way through. But from a production standpoint, I think this is high quality production, sequencing, arrangement, etc. What were some of the things that jumped out to you on the project, just from a first listen? Because it's too deep to digest. I hate 24-hour classes.
Well,
Y'all know
I've listened to it twice. It's good, man. It's not what if you're expecting like,
Damn.
if you're expecting Damn, or you're expecting Section 80 or To Pimp a Butterfly or any of these other ones, it's not the same. It's different, and that's one of the great things about Kendrick is that he kind of reinvents himself with everything that he does. Listening to it the first time, I wasn't blown away by the production, but at the same time, I wasn't disappointed in it. I thought it was good. I thought it was fitting for what he was doing with the project. I'm just going to be honest. I thought it was good enough. Sorry, let me do this real quick. Sorry, this is the production portion of it. But sonically, I thought it sounded good. I liked it. But again, I wasn't blown away. There's nothing on there that I was just like, man, this is amazing, or this is like something I haven't heard before. But I think the overall product of it, I think mixed with Kendrick and how he executes, I think it was very well done. The one thing that I think that Kendrick does better than almost any artist I've ever met is his execution. Everybody has great ideas. Kendrick takes those ideas and turns them into spectacular ideas and experiences. Like, even think about the song everybody's talking about, the We Cry Together song, right?
Yeah.
Which is almost...
Shout out to RZA.
We were talking last week about the AK video with Kendrick and the potential influences that may have. Well, you look at this song, and to me, it's almost a direct influence from RZA's Domestic Violence.
Yep. Yeah.
So, like, I hear Kendrick seeing domestic violence from RZA and then just taking that idea and just like making it 20 times even greater than and the original's great. You know what I mean? And the beat sounds like West Side Gun could be on it. But,
true. Good call.
But overall, I think it's just a really great piece of art. And if you don't appreciate albums and albums as art in that manner, you're probably not going to appreciate this the same way that a lot of people didn't appreciate To Pimp a Butterfly, because they got bored with it because their attention spans are probably whack, is my guess. I don't know, or they don't listen to music like that, So, but overall, I was impressed with the overall product, and I thought, to your point, the production, I thought it was there's a such thing as like just a fire beat and then production that matches the overall ambiance of the piece that's being made.
That's where I was going.
And I think that's what was excellent about it. It wasn't doing too much because it didn't need to.
Right.
So that's,
What did you think about the content, the subject matter, the direction that he went, the direction he chose to go into this time? It's heavy. To me, it's very heavy. And it's self-reflecting, and I feel like it's almost his therapy session on wax is the way I took it.
I honestly don't know because I'd have to listen to it more.
Okay.
But you know, he's talking about cancel culture. He's talking about, you know, infidelity. He's talking about, you know, LGBT stuff, you know, dropping the F word when we were younger, you know, which, you know, vaccines, all sorts of stuff. Yeah. 𝗏𝗏 and all this stuff. I think, I like that he challenged it. You know, I think it takes an artist like him to have to challenge stuff like this because quote unquote cancel culture has become huge. Yeah. You know, like 100%. I don't think I knew as soon as he dropped the, what is it? Auntie's Diary.
Auntie's Diary. Yeah.
I knew as soon as he dropped that, like I was like, there's going to be a bazillion think pieces on this in 20 seconds. And literally in 20 minutes, I already saw
Twitter was crazy.
I was just like, yep, there it is.
There it is.
And so,
and it's like the most streamed song on the album so
is
far.
It?
Yeah.
Yeah, but because people want to have an opinion on it. So it's super interesting, that aspect of it.
I saw him which was weird. I saw him getting dragged on Twitter a lot.
Imagine that.
For that record. Like it was
I didn't see that.
I saw a couple of my homies put me onto it, but there were a lot of people that were coming at him for that.
Were they even, I mean, and this is the thing, because we talked about this a little bit when the Dave Chappelle thing hit.
Yeah.
Was it even people who were of the community, or was it people who decide they're going to be offended on behalf of that community without talking to anybody in that community?
To your point, it was people that, from what I saw, it was people outside of that community.
See,
that were the most...
Yeah. There are people who want to. This is, you know, one of the worst things about liberalism is like you feel you need to be offended for people proactively, right, even though you haven't talked to them about how they actually feel. Right. Like, you know, I remember like knowing someone, and I say the community just because I don't want to miss a number or a letter. I so feel y'all know what I'm talking about.
100%.
And so I talked to a friend of mine who is transgender when I said, because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't saying anything hurtful, and I wanted to act. But the thing is, most people don't do that. They just be like, all right, I'm going to be offended and I'm going to be an ally. You're not actually an ally. You're just trying to draw attention to yourself.
Have you ever noticed how that person that you ask is always like, no, it's cool, ask.
Yeah.
Ask me. I want to tell you, ask me. Yeah. That's what I've experienced.
You know, and so like that's it's just crazy because he's very right. I was just waiting for all the people to come out with their think pieces, or I don't even think they have the time, because you know you can't get think pieces into all of your to a Twitter thread. I mean, you can try, but it's not.
But it doesn't even matter because think pieces have turned from articles to just Twitter threads and TikTok reviews and all this stuff. Like I don't care about Joe Wall's review on like
we see Joe Wall.
Random
if
stuff.
It's not Ja Rule's opinion, we don't care.
We don't care.
I don't know. Like everybody's got an opinion, man. There's so much noise. It's so annoying, to be honest.
You know, it's like, did you like the album or did you not? And I tell people, like, because I didn't want to really give up any sort. I was very dead serious when I tweeted. Is like anyone who's been asking me about my opinion about the album, I said, well, I have a podcast where I go over those things every week.
That was my that's my approach. I said I refuse to engage.
You know, other than like, you know, a couple other DJs I talked to, just random people who feel like I know a little bit about hip hop and wanted to, you know what I thought. I was like, hey, wait till Tuesday night or Thursday if you don't watch live.
I've avoided a lot of traps. There were traps that were set to pull me into
a whole lot of
conversations. I've avoided. I'm proud of myself. I got to pat myself on the back. I avoided all the traps and I haven't engaged.
I think you probably did a little something.
I take that back. Couple little foolishness here and there.
Did a little something.
But I didn't get fully engaged like I normally would, and it felt good not to, which is kind of odd, but.
Well, it's supposed to not.
It's supposed to feel okay. Thank you. Thank you for helping.
Well, because the thing is, the one person I really talked to, DJ Lockstar, where we were discussing the album, I said, this wasn't an easy record to listen to, right? Because you're not used to, even when, say, Jay came through at 444, he told us a lot of things that were very personal, but it wasn't like this.
Nah.
This was really, I said, this is an album that Kendrick did for himself. He just happened to let us listen to it.
That's the way I took it.
I feel like
those are the best albums, though.
Yeah, I feel like Damn was for us. He was like, okay, after To Pimp a Butterfly, you don't think I can give you those slaps and get on the okay? We gonna see about that.
Well, I thought that was why he had two of his singles, Humble and DNA.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like those were intentionally placed on there
Yeah.
for those
Mike,
people.
You know, for
Yeah,
Mike,
definitely.
Mike Will made it. Like when I saw Mike Will made it and Kendrick, at first it didn't make no sense. But you know, I saw
It ended up working.
I saw the vision. But with this, you know, with the We Cry, you know, talking about the infidelity and like the honesty about having skepticism about, you know, vaccine till I got COVID. And, you know, when you talk about infidelity, and any time of your, anything, especially when you're still with the particular woman that, may have, caught you being unfaithful and has had to go through the emotional roller coaster of dealing with an unfaithful man.
Right.
Like, you got to understand, there's a lot of people who will be like, no, I'm gonna keep that to myself.
Yeah.
You know, presenting, I think, you know, a lot of times we put a lot on certain artists like Kendrick, before maybe we put it on Lauryn Hill, or these people are supposed to be the saviors of our culture, and bring it out of this mediocre cesspool of just commercial rap that's you know,
being recycled.
It's just the same thing over and over. And those people are like, look, I'm trying to make my art and express myself. I'm not really here to save your life.
True.
I know that sounds crazy, but you know, I want you to enjoy my art and discuss it. But you know, if you're looking for me to save you, that's somebody else's job, and the person's job is not mine.
It's also unfair to place that on. I had to get out of that mindset. Oh, this person's gonna save the culture. Like that's not,
you know,
it's not fair to even put that on somebody.
You know, and also, you know, I know it sounds crazy, but like I did not expect to enjoy. First of all, when I see Kodak Black's name pop up, and then when I enjoy his contributions to the, I mean, he gave me like a fly. Basically spoken word piece. And, you know, a lot of, you know, Kendrick speaking out against, you know, cancel culture, I think has to deal with him working with Kendrick, who I'm not Kendrick,
Kodak,
but Kodak,
yep,
who's had to go through a lot. And I think a lot of that, I think I expressed it several episodes about, is like, I don't want anyone to be defined by their worst moment or who they are when they were 25 years old.
True.
You know, right. I'll never, you know, I can't remember who said it, and if I knew, I'd give him credit. I said, if Malcolm X was alive today, we would be like, yeah, but what about all that stuff you was doing to use Detroit Red? You know what I'm saying? Like, we would never let that go.
Yeah.
And we would never let people try to figure it out and become better people. You know, and so I liked that, you know, the discussion of that. I just say, man, like, I understand this isn't for everybody. And like I said, he made an album that was really for him. Like, I just felt like this is almost like the culmination of going to therapy and figuring out that he can't save everybody, you know, and that he has to, you know, somehow get these things, you know, he has to take these things off of his back if he's going to fix these generational curses.
I want to hear what you got to say, Jay Diff. Just how the project made you feel, anything that stood out to you, just at a first glance when you actually ran through it and got a chance to, you know, soak it up for a little bit.
It's actually pretty heavy, to be honest with you.
I agree.
And I listened to it all the way through once, then I listened to it again. Then I wanted to keep listening to it, but I couldn't listen to it anymore because it was almost like some of the stuff he was talking about not necessarily directly reflected what some of the shit I was going through, or stuff, I should say. Put a pin on that one.
What time is that there?
Gotcha.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
It was heavy in a sense of actually talking about a lot of things.
Right.
And for people that go through stuff, that's kind of the best way in order to get through it, is to actually talk about it in order for you to move on. So it kind of, like I said, it's heavy, and it's layered, and I'm not about to sit there and say this is my favorite project, but it's not a bad project at all. And it's one of those albums that'll probably be appreciated years down the line more. And for the people that don't really get into Kendrick, it's strange because he doesn't make music that in any way, shape, or form. I don't remember Kendrick ever making stuff that is supposed to be on the radio. Now he has had songs
that can be played.
Yeah, that can be played, but I don't think that's his target market or what he's aiming to do whenever he drops these projects.
I agree.
And a lot of people are giving him flack for being boring, so to speak, or it's because you're so into this turn up culture. You got everything has to be party mode and go, go, go. Whereas this is actually something that you have to sit down and actually take in, and whether you enjoy it or not, or if it makes you feel uncomfortable or not, it did something. And with it being hip hop, having you have to go through emotions like that, they say that that's not supposed to happen with hip hop, right?
Isn't that weird that an album that actually makes you do everything you just said is being frowned upon and is being trolled?
That's because
is being
what it
laughed
is,
at?
people don't know how to take that. Like,
Yeah.
so they listen to something like that and it makes them uncomfortable because it's not the same type feeling that you're getting when you're listening to this. And a lot of it's not even upbeat because people have their definition of upbeat and everything switched around. You know that as a DJ, when somebody comes and asks you, you play something more upbeat, and you're playing something that's way more upbeat than what they just suggested. But that's
then
another.
they'll request a song that's 65 beats per minute.
Exactly. But it's got people feeling uncomfortable because he's speaking of things that they may have experienced growing up.
That part.
They may be personally going through right now. And that's just not what they want to do. Nobody wants to confront their demons. That's the reason why a lot of this stuff that people are into is just party music or stuff that they really can't directly relate to. It's just this person, they like to hear this person having fun and talking about doing this, that, and the other, and living a lifestyle that they'll never be able to achieve. That's fun to them.
Yeah.
But something that you can directly relate to, possibly on a level of a self-therapy session, that's just not comfortable for you. So you shun it. And like I said, I couldn't listen to it again, even when I wanted to, just because certain type of thing happened over the weekend, and I just didn't want to have to listen to because it's not an upbeat album. I wouldn't say it's dark, but it's
made for something specific. Like it. So I've had this conversation with students and people I've talked to about To Pimp a Butterfly. I've only listened to Pimp a Butterfly one time all the way through. One time. Now I've heard the songs off of it, right? But all the way through front to back was one time. And the reason why I only listened to it one time was because I wasn't in a place to consume that piece of art all the way through, and I just never went back to it. But it doesn't mean that it's not great. No, it doesn't mean that the songs aren't good or that it's not doing what it's supposed to do. It just means that I can't consume it in the way. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, this is amazing. And I was like, but I just never went back to it because I couldn't.
I went back to it this weekend. I went back and listened to Pimp a Butterfly all the way through this weekend. And I was like, this is incredible.
It is.
This is incredible.
Kendrick doesn't have any misses though. Like
that's what I say.
Yep. Projects, and I know a lot of us, we know that he had the projects before his actual
aftermath,
release, so to speak. So if we're talking about debut albums, Good Kid, Mad City has to be in that discussion.
I think they count Section 80.
They do count Section 80?
I think they count Section 80 as an album.
They kind of do.
Yeah.
It kind of was, really.
I mean, you can, even if, let's say you don't, that still ain't a miss.
That's like, what?
That still ain't a miss.
I mean,
so
even overly dedicated. Overly dedicated is not a miss.
It's not a miss either, yeah.
But, I mean, there's this, something I really appreciate about Kendrick, though, and this isn't coming from a stan level of
that's what they gonna
appreciation, because nowadays you can't even like an artist without being a stan.
Talk to him.
But every project that he has, nothing sounds the same. There's some kind of growth that was that he's achieved a different level on each album, and it's like, what's the next album going to be? I think that's why people look forward to what Kendrick's going to do, because you know that you're going to get something totally different every single time. Like nothing
because he could have just did Good Kid, Mad City 4 times.
Yeah, and people would have loved that.
He could have draked it. He could have done Section 80 that means.
I posted on my Instagram, don't be mad at Kendrick, because if you're a Drake fan, or if you just want to hate on Kendrick, don't worry, Drake will drop the same album that he's dropped in 2 more years.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same formula. It's going to be the same thing.
I've heard people, they are so, it's weird to even say disgusted by Kendrick, that they were saying that Kodak Black bodied him on this album. Yeah. I'm like, how do you figure somebody, because he did a little simplistic verse
Interlude.
and Kendrick was really kind of playing around with the track. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's not bodying. This is not. They were not sparring back and forth
No, this was
lyrically. So there's no way
not
that
what
somebody
that is.
can get bodied. And they have to understand too that these artists that they swear are so much better than Kendrick are honored to even be discussed in the same breath as Kendrick Lamar. You know what I'm saying?
Kodak
Yeah.
obviously understood the assignment.
Yeah.
And he was
Absolutely.
grateful for the opportunity
Yeah.
one because he knows Kendrick is a legend. He said that.
I
So
hope so.
and his involvement with the album, I'm not mad at it. I like hearing his voice pop in here and there. I like even the joint, the Silent Hill joint. I like that record. Like I thought it was. I'm with it.
That's the one where Kodak bodied Kendrick.
Yeah, he bodied him on that one. Quote
That was
unquote.
my least
man.
favorite part of the album, to be honest. And I didn't hate it.
I'm
You
not
know
even
what I mean?
I'm not even the biggest or a Kodak Black fan. I ain't gonna cap
I
and say I'm a fan.
don't dislike Kodak. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you that I dislike Kodak.
Nah,
but
I'm not
I
a
can
fan either.
appreciate it when he do what he's supposed to do, and I feel like he did what he was supposed to do.
I do too. I
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not mad at it. But I saw a lot of Kendrick clout tokens being cashed in since this album dropped. I saw so many people doing.
What do you mean by that?
When I say
Kendrick clout tokens.
clout tokens, they cashed them
You need
in.
to put that out as an NFT.
I know, right?
Some
Hey,
Kendrick
if
clout
y'all do that,
tokens.
I want how much? What's the percentage I should
I don't
take?
know. Everything is dropping right now, so
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
we'll
later.
figure it out.
Yeah,
later.
all them tokens.
When I say
Yeah.
clout tokens, I'm saying I saw so many attempts to troll Kendrick, over the top attempts.
Oh yeah.
Just to bring attention to yourself. In all actuality, you really
Oh,
want
yeah.
attention.
That's so
you-
corny.
Yeah, but you're using Kendrick as a way to get to the attention. You really don't mess with him. You really don't rock with him. And I know you don't really follow him, but everybody's talking about him, and these are the people that never like him. So let's just use this opportunity to get clout and do stupid stuff and get
Yeah.
attention. And I'm
Everybody loves being, even the smart people love being ignorant. It seems like
yeah.
to kind of appease or shake up the room a little bit. It seems like, I don't know, and it's a weird type of energy.
And but Terry, that's
And even on both ends of the coin, like the whole, if you're a super Kendrick fan and you're saying how amazing and great
Right.
and oh my God,
right.
and salivating at the mouth over it, just appreciate it for what it is. There's
sure.
no reason to be online debating people who don't have the same ears as you,
But I wanna-
or don't feel the same way that you feel. And on the other side, the people that don't like Kendrick or just can't wait to say something about it, like couldn't wait to listen to it just so you can be like, you didn't like it before you heard it.
Yeah.
Bingo. There it
And
is.
so there's really nothing to talk about here.
And there's a difference to me, in my personal opinion, when I say we talk about the clout chasing. You can still have your opinion about Kendrick. You don't. I'm not making everybody like him. You don't have to like him. But the antics is what I'm saying is just corny. Like that's corny to me. The stuff I'm saying is 100% corny.
I saw one of the most craziest reaches, and I'll let you guys tell me what you think about this one, because to me it's fake deep. But somebody said that Kendrick's new album isn't hip hop because hip hop is something that speaks from an impoverished level, and because Kendrick isn't that anymore, and the subject matter that he's talking about, he can't technically be hip hop because he's
How old was
rich.
this person?
That means Jay-Z ain't been hip hop in 30
30?
years.
How long?
Yeah.
I'm about to say
30?
because it's a lot of
30.
people that ain't been
So
hip hop.
this is somebody that's an overthinker and not in a good way.
This person's also a troll, so I'll say that
Oh,
too.
well.
Okay, well, there you
Okay.
go.
Well,
Good
but-
job.
We all know professional trolls, and
But-
they just say anything to stir people up in the first place.
and to get attention.
But I think they meant it though.
Oh, you think it's legit? Like
I think
it's
they
genuine?
legit meant it, and I think it was something that they had conjured up just to go at the stands as opposed to listen to the music.
Well,
Right.
You know what I mean?
and being impoverished is more than being that in the physical. It actually can be a state of mind as well.
True.
Mm.
If your mind is not receiving the nutrients, or you're not in a place mentally
To receive those
to receive that, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Then technically you're still impoverished, right?
Right.
It doesn't matter how much money that you have.
Yeah.
If you're still working through things that are not helping you become a better human being until you actually get through that,
Yeah.
technically you're still impoverished. So
Yep.
absolutely 100% hip hop.
And I should have impoverished from the angle of Black America as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
no
know
doubt.
what
We
you're saying.
got
Yeah, we know
that.
what
We
you're
got
saying.
that.
All right, well,
Kendrick is this album. I don't know if any of his releases, and you guys can chime in. I don't know if there's any previous release that has been this. What's the word I'm looking for?
Debated. Maybe?
Debated, controversial, anticipated.
I have one here in the chat just because since we're on that, brother tonight is saying the people that are saying other people have made that same type of album and y'all don't give them credit. I mean,
okay, I got a
I understand what he's saying.
I do.
Y'all have anything to say?
I think
that?
we've given Fonte credit when he's made
Absolutely
that type of album. We gave in our early days, we gave Jay-Z that credit when he made that type of album.
But he's more so talking about the people that are butthurt because people love Kendrick so much. But what other people have made this type of album and they didn't give them that same type of energy.
One that stood out to me was that I saw was Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD talks about, God rest his soul, Juice WRLD talks about stuff like this all the time. This artist talks about this type of stuff all the time, and nobody talks about it. And to me, this is where music, the subjective part of music comes in. I may not relate to, or it may not fit my palette, that may not be for me, and I may not have listened to it, and it's just not my vibe, and I didn't listen to it. I don't think there's anything that's wrong with that when I say that. Maybe I missed it. Maybe it was something I just didn't listen to.
I think it simply comes down to, realistically, I think it comes down to execution.
Quality of the product.
Kendrick's quality of everything that he has ever touched is immaculate.
I agree.
Who is arguing with that?
And we've talked about misses, right? Just for clarification, I'm not saying every album is a classic, or
not every song is perfect.
We're not saying that.
Right.
But his projects and his execution, in my opinion, to Lone's point, have been flawless thus far.
Yeah.
And it's just better. It's just better, in my personal opinion. It's just better.
And that's from an artistic take. That's from our opinion as people that critique art.
Right.
And also put out art.
Yeah, not just like, music to put out music.
Right.
This isn't like Kendrick didn't drop an album because, man, it's 5 years, I need to put an album. I'm sure he had that pressure. But if he really felt that pressure, he would have dropped it 2 years ago.
Said he had a writer's block for 2 years, didn't rush it.
That's what I mean.
I appreciate that.
He's not just going to throw stuff together just to put out. He's going to give us something that is him. And I appreciate that.
And because when you're at Kendrick's level, because don't forget he signed Aftermath Interscope, he can call in all the favors he wants to.
Man, the budget, the bag is unlimited.
But instead his biggest features are what? SZA, Kodak Black, and Ghostface Killer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and shout out to Beth Gibson from
Portishead, which is crazy.
It's crazy.
That song is dope.
Yeah. But you could have called in, the Drakes and A$AP Rocky and get Just Blaze beats and have.
I'm so glad he didn't though.
And like I said, he could have made Good Kid, Mad City 4 times in a row, and nobody would have said anything.
Oh,
true.
But he chose
mad
to
he
do.
Didn't take the.
He's
Lil
mad.
Wayne.
They're mad.
This is not a shot at Lil Wayne. This is not a shot at Lil Wayne at all.
I know what you're
everybody gets their panties in a bunch.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne dropped the Carter 4 times,
and
then they all were pretty much. They didn't vary a whole lot from each other either.
Agreed.
It was the same type of music every single time because that's what his fans wanted.
Formula.
Kendrick is doing this for himself, essentially. Like we talk about how this is a therapeutic album for him, but literally every album he has a therapy moment on it if you really pay attention.
Oh, definitely.
Self-reflection. A lot of
every single one. This one is just a lot heavier than the other ones. Is more concentrated on himself for the most part.
I've always compared him and his group of producers, Soundwave, all these guys. Thundercat, I believe, was on there as a session musician.
Terrence Martin made this one or not.
I didn't see his name in the credits.
The only
DJ Diff Lone talked about was all over this mug.
Pharrell had, Pharrell got to join on here.
Boy Wonder's a part of it.
I don't think he cares about. I was going to say this, as far as production is concerned, he's always just used stuff that fits him. When you think back to when he worked with Knowledge, or he even had that record with Ninth Wonder randomly, he brought Rhapsody on for a track.
Yep.
It's just it fit. He's not forcing anything.
This group of musicians and the direction, they got a great chemistry. And I know we got to get. I think I didn't even realize it was a little after.
It's all good.
But I wanted to ask
Giving
you
the people
all.
what they want.
Yeah, we gotta shout out to the chat too. The chat is active. I wanted to ask you all if there were, Terry already alluded to one of my favorites, but standout records. Those last two records in general, Mother I Sober is crazy.
Yeah.
Mirror, I love the production on Mirror.
Yeah.
Changes. It almost sounds like,
There's
y'all-
not a bad song on this album.
Agreed.
If I want to be 100 about it.
y'all remember that 80s, was it an 80s group called Africa?
Toto,
To-
Yeah,
but
Toto. They
the
had a
song was
song
Africa,
called
the group
Africa.
was Toto.
Yeah.
Like, that Mirror joint is so, like, the breakdowns is so 80s, bro, but the production, and I was just impressed. And even some of the records on here made me think about myself. I'm like, man, some of this stuff it might apply to me. To Terry's point about not being able to just rock with it the whole time because stuff
No,
might
I
be
got
going
through
on.
it twice, and I just was like, I kept wanting to go back and listen to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't kind of want to be in this mood right now, so I'm gonna leave it alone.
No, when I initially listened to it, I was out I was working out, because I work out.
You got any standout records? Father Time is dope, too.
I like the M95 record, N95.
I like that.
I like the record with Kodak. We played that in the club this weekend.
That joint go to me. Silent Hill.
Yeah, Silent
That
Hill.
joint go.
Oh man, I mean, of course, I love anything with Ghostface Killer on it.
No,
Ghostface did what he's supposed to do too as an OG.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of standout. There's really nothing on there where I'm like, yeah. I mean,
Look.
where I was like, whatever.
Auntie Diary.
But I mean, some of the stuff, like I said, I said this to everyone who I wanted to talk to about it because I didn't want to talk. That's the thing. I didn't want to talk to everybody about this until
Yeah.
Nor did I.
did the show. This is not an easy record to listen to, especially if you've been through some things as an adult and
Facts.
you've had to change how you feel about certain things as far as the way the world works. Like I'm 45. Like at one point, I'm not going to act like I didn't say the F word when I was in college, when I'm in the dorm playing NBA Live 96.
I said that all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah,
it was just something you did.
And
We didn't even think twice about it.
I'm beating my roommate, and he unplugs the cord, and that was coming out. I
Yep.
was saying that not
Yep.
even to cast aspersions on him because I thought he had a sexual predilection that I didn't agree with.
Predilection.
Oh, I see you. I see you. I felt it though. I felt that.
I was just saying it because that's
Predilected
I at one point because I play the music I want to hear before I open the club,
Okay.
and
Bobby Womack.
I mean, we didn't go back that far, at least not that night. But then, like, I had, some Wu-Tang and some Black Moon, and then I'm listening. I was like, whoa, I forgot how they was just dropping that. And this is 1995,
95. Yep.
And I was like, I don't feel right, especially knowing who could be hearing this and
Right.
and how I've become more involved in understanding of the world and how people are and people's sexuality. It's like I don't want to hear that in the music.
Right.
So I went in. Even these are songs that are bops. These are things I have good memories to. I was like, I don't want to play that for my staff or for myself.
Yeah.
So like I said,
I can respect
you
that.
have to. People have to be given grace for growth, and I just want everyone to be able to reach that time. Like I said, let's not judge everybody for their worst moment because that's what cancel culture is.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Exactly what it is. Yeah.
And if we want to be 100 about it, it really doesn't work. Think about the people that have gotten canceled. The people that
It just
have got
Pushes
canceled,
people.
they did like some terrible stuff.
yeah.
But the people that they try to cancel every day, it seems like it's
It's
somebody
like
new.
Jay was talking earlier tonight, and we've talked in the past. Is liberal stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
not even like there's no real intent behind it. It's like Democrats kneeling with dashikis on. Is what it is. It's like
That picture is so monkey, man.
Yeah, I mean, like that is a cringe moment if there ever was one.
my favorite song on this record though is "We Cry Together," and
That's the same I was talking about. This is a hard album to listen to.
no, for sure.
Especially if you've been through a relationship.
It's like
and-
a movie, bro.
and
Let me
maybe
rephrase
you
that,
didn't
though.
say maybe you didn't do that, but you've
It's-
as grown men, we've
I've
all
never
had
been
that
in-
moment.
I haven't been in that type of relationship.
no, I haven't either. But let me rephrase that. It's not my favorite.
Variations.
It's not my favorite record,
Right.
but it might be one of the best executed songs I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like again, I brought it back to Reza's domestic violence. Which,
That's what it made me think of immediately.
if you go back and listen to Reza on that has to be real.
Yeah.
I don't know how that is fake because
Yeah.
Reza is not
I've seen his movies. He's not that good of an actor.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. No
Shout out to the
disrespect.
RZA. I'm just
No,
playing.
don't do that.
But
Don't do that.
RZA on that song, like even today, because I re-listened to it on Monday, I was like, I believe this is like these are real emotions.
You don't press my jeans. Hey, I remember that song.
Hey, pharmaceutical bottle. But
Yeah,
like,
I'm cool. I don't like that kind of conflict, so I've never subjected myself to that type of relationship.
but I'm being serious. Like, I don't know if there's a song that I can think of on an artistic type of level. I really like the beat. I like the
girl
way it's
sold
done.
it too.
She did.
Yeah,
she
she did.
And that was
sold
like
it.
the first thing she's ever like done, apparently.
Bruh, she sold that.
But the song, like the execution of it, it's not to your guys' point. It's not something I can listen to all the time.
But that it all still rhymes.
Yeah. I know he probably wrote her part and his, but she executed that.
she
to the
killed it.
T. She killed it.
And I feel somebody told me. I don't remember if she's like a. I don't think she's a rapper. I think she's
Is she an actress?
an
I had to look
actress.
her up.
think she's
I
a-
wasn't familiar with her
I
name.
thought she was an actor. I'd have to double check that. But she killed
killed
that
that
too.
mug, man.
But the way that song was executed and how it ended up at the end, I'm like, wow, this is just really good. Like,
Hey, that mother eye sober though.
Y'all
That
never
mother.
had to take somebody's keys before they went to work.
Nah, man. I'm cool on that energy.
Yeah.
What's
I've dabbled, but
interesting
nothing
too?
like this.
What's interesting too is
you dabbled
his
in domestic
cousin.
Not domestic violence. Don't do that.
You
Don't
dabbled.
even-
You dabbled in
I
key
ain't,
taking.
I ain't dabbling in domestic violence. Don't do,
I
don't
ain't
do that.
I ain't had no parts of that type.
I'd
of
had
energy.
some heated arguments, but no
But
domestic
nah,
violence.
I'm cool. His cousin Baby Keem dropped his album mid to late last year,
Yeah.
which Kendrick was all over a little bit. Was a different Kendrick.
Right.
It's like Kendrick has his characters that he does. You know what I'm
He
saying?
does a lot of characters.
Yeah. Keem wasn't on this album at all.
It was.
He
Yeah, he
kissed
was.
him in the
Was
video.
he?
I mean, he might have been in the video.
Don't do
but he
that.
wasn't-
Don't do that long.
He wasn't
Yeah,
featured.
he is. He's on Save
Is
It. Yeah,
He's on
Save
one
It.
track, I think.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But
he's
did-
on there.
he kissed him
But
in the
it's
video.
not the same.
Stop, long.
It's not the same energy that the Baby Keem album was
Right.
on at all.
I
You know
thought
what I'm saying?
I thought his feature on that Baby King. I thought Kendrick's feature on that Baby King was trash. It ain't stick with me.
It was a character.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
He does a lot.
Does that type of stuff.
He does.
though.
And
I didn't like it.
You know, Terry, you said that recently, and it really kind of made me think. Kendrick does a lot of characters. Like he does. He's almost like a character actor in a lot of the stuff that he does. It's like he channels other. As much as people say that this album is his album and about him, I feel like he also. I don't think the song, the Auntie song, I don't even think he wrote that song. I think that was written by somebody else.
Oh, word?
If you go back and look at it, I think it was written by somebody else.
There's a lot of names on the credits.
I mean, you can trash me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was written by somebody else.
The verses?
I think so.
I don't
Wow.
see Kendrick doing that.
I don't know about that. I mean, I'll stand corrected.
But the reason why I say that is because of how he addressed it. Now, I've got to be wrong about this. I must have had some bad. I'm still,
I don't know
even-
about that.
Even as I'm saying this doesn't seem like
Nah,
normal
that don't
information.
sound right.
Yeah.
That don't sound right.
But even with that aside, I feel like he does a really good job of channeling ideas that may not even be necessarily from him. And
I think that might have been a personal situation with him.
I
The way that-
no, that
I
one
believe it.
specifically, I do.
I
do.
believe
I
it.
do that one specifically, but I do feel like he also he kind of steps out. I don't know how to describe it. I feel like he steps
the Tupac
he steps
type of
outside of
thing.
himself a little bit.
Mortal Man.
Tupac was
Yeah.
kind of like somebody that observed
Mm.
and wrote. So as far as that's concerned, maybe him looking at a certain situation and writing about that. But I don't see anybody writing for Kendrick.
Nah,
And
him,
him,
I
him
don't.
just saying it.
And I mean, down to Lone's point about the execution, it's the small stuff when he says his auntie picked him up and they drove off listening to Quick. My mind went all the way back to
Yep,
that time.
yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's the detail, it's the small stuff. The minute things is what it just takes him over the top, bro. But yeah, this is not for everybody, and I don't think it's supposed to be. But it's very well executed. It's a good album, very good album, and I'm gonna continue to, dive in and go through it because there's
Like I
too
said,
much stuff to digest.
There's going to be stuff that like people are, somebody told me to give it a number from 1 to 10. I can't do that right now.
hate
I'm
that.
still sitting with this record.
I hate
Yeah.
that.
I'm still sitting with this.
I hate
Like
that.
there's certain things I could do that for, because it's product more than it is art, and I can rate product much easier than I can rate
Terry,
flat out art.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the credits here. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different composers / lyricists. Most of those are probably musicians, but
They have 5 listed as producers.
five.
I'm
is
looking at it on
producers?
Wiki, so half of it is probably. The
But that's
producers.
interesting that you have 5 writers for one song, isn't it? Wouldn't you think?
It depends on
Like I said, if it's a sample,
because the
yeah, the
No, that's true too.
That's
That is
true.
because
That's
whoever
true.
you sample,
That's true
a
as
lot of
well.
times depending on how those splits are set up, you get writer's credit.
And 𝗏𝗏𝗏 got 2. Just 𝗏𝗏𝗏. If you ever want to get your read some books on the ego and how to get yourself right, he's got a couple books, but he has a couple quotes on the weird sounding guy that they had like the quote in there a couple times.
Yeah,
He's got some really great books,
Mhm.
like A New Earth and some other stuff. But
Rakim is on there one time.
one time,
one
thought it was
feature
twice, but maybe-
on Savior. You know,
was he in an interlude?
no, it was on the actual. He was right after interlude. He's on the actual joint.
Gotcha.
All right, man. So shout out to Kendrick for dropping another artistic piece and shaking up the world.
It was the no, because one of the people he was talking about on that one was King's mother.
Yeah, Auntie Diaries.
Is that who died or something?
I don't know.
I gotta go.
because I know he talked about his mother passing away.
I really don't know. Like I don't.
It's so
know.
much going on in that
mom
mug.
didn't pass, so
I thought that was something that they talked. That might be where I have it
Because he was talking
confused.
about his
his dad and how going.
auntie, because how his dad and his uncles turned on his.
Like I said, I'm still sitting with this
Yeah.
album.
Yeah, I gotta
I
go
like
back
it a
and-
lot, but I'm still sitting with it.